Andrew, I've always found lists scary when it comes to R programming. And today I'm going to teach you how to extract an element from a list, actually from a list within a list. It's actually something that I learned from a chapter you are writing in the book that we're writing together. So in actual fact, you're going to see something that you already know about, but others will learn. What are you going to teach me today?
Totally coincidentally, I'm going to be talking about a very related thing, namely going into a nested list and making an assignment within that nested list. You want to get us
Can't
started?
wait.
Show us
Very
something.
excited about that. And otherwise, just quickly before we do that, Andrew, tell me, how are you? I haven't spoken to you in ages.
Oh man, day by day, right? Over here, that's all we can do. How about you?
Good, man. Good. All's well on this side. Anything exciting happening on your YouTube channel?
Let's get into that after we do our Today I Learned stuff.
Okay, let's jump right into Today I Learn. I'll share my screen. Okay, can you see it?
Yeah, looking good.
All right, Andrew, as always, I'm starting with the tidyverse, getting the tidyverse packages in there, and we're going to be looking at the Star Wars dataset. And for those of you that haven't seen the Star Wars dataset before, I'll just put it on the screen right there. Lovely dataset to practice your R programming and data wrangling with. And the variable that I'm interested in at the moment, or the column that I'm interested in at the moment, is the films column. So we're looking at each of the Star Wars characters, and here in the films column, we've got a list of all of the movies that they've been in. So we've got Luke Skywalker, and he's been in A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, etc., etc. If we wanted to, looking at this data set, extract out the second movie that Luke Skywalker was in, the question is, how would we do that? And I'm going to show you a number of ways to do it. And the first way to do it, I'm not actually going to get into, because this is the sort of base R method, and it's, as you can see, very machine friendly. And we
Yeah.
often talk about the fact that when we work with the tidyverse, it's very
Yep.
human syntax friendly. This is
Correct.
very kind of machine orientated with like square brackets as to kind of where it's
Hmm.
going to, essentially, this is like go to the Star Wars data set, look at the films column, look at the first row of that column and extract the second element.
Yep.
But this is very, very clumsy to look at.
Yep.
There's two other ways that I know of to do this. The first is what's on the screen at the moment. And let me just run that code so you can see what so the first line of code, The Empire Strikes Back, the second movie of Luke Skywalker. Happy days, it does what it's supposed to. The second bit of code here, and just a spoiler alert,
Hmm.
I'm going to show you a third way, which is the much, much more elegant way of doing this. But the second way of doing this is using the tidyverse notation. And the reason I wanted to show you this, Andrew, is because in real life, I wouldn't do it this way, but there's some
Hmm.
interesting lessons to learn here. So let's walk through it. We've
Yeah.
got the Star Wars data set. The first line here is slice, which means we'll take the first observation, and it's numeric. So it's the very first observation. If that was slice two, it would be the second character, et cetera, et cetera. We could here also have said filter and said filter
Yeah.
equals Luke Skywalker, and we would get the same observation. So we've got two options there. The next one is one I don't use very often, which is pull, which basically says you're saying to R, take a particular column or a particular variable and extract it out um, from the rest. Now, this is different from saying select. If we said select films, what your data object would become at that point would still be a tibble or a data
Hmm.
frame, and it would be a data frame with just one variable.
Yeah.
When you do pull, it actually just pulls out that variable as a standalone data object. But in this case, what you've pulled out is itself a list. And I
Yes.
want to just show you what I mean by that. I've just stuck the same code over here, right? So if I said Star Wars slice, the first row, pull films, and I asked for the class, like what have we pulled out here? It's pulled out a list,
Yeah.
and that's not so useful. However, if I put in this extra line here, which is uh, flatten
Yeah.
CHR, which is like just turn this into basically what that means is
Right.
turn this into a character vector and run the same code. I've just got one extra line, boom shakalaka, it's a character vector, and that's what we
Great.
want in this case. So if I go back to my code here, I've said slice one, pull films, flatten character, and then dot two. What's happening here? The dot just means as you piping this data object from one line into the next, this is where it sticks that the data object that's come through the pipe operators. And it's almost as if we had like, Star Wars dollar sign, blah, 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 blah. And then we're
Yeah,
saying the second element in that is going to be, and let's run that, boom shakalaka, the Empire
there it
Strikes
is.
Back, just as anticipated. So that's the sort of complicated way of using the tidyverse notation to get
Yeah.
there. But it's kind of quite interesting. I like the sort of steps involved. Now, here's the elegant way. And this is what I learned from the chapter that you wrote and that I've been looking at in this last week. Um, so this is the pluck function, which I'd never learned. I just hadn't used it ever. And it's so elegant. It's literally Star Wars pluck films. That's the column. The first row, the second element, boom shakalaka, let's run that. And the Empire
It
Strikes
is.
Back as promised. Happy days.
That's wonderful. I like the name of that function too.
Yeah,
There,
me too.
there's a number of places in the tidyverse and in tidy models where they've done a pretty good job naming the functions and
I
just
completely
the right
agree.
amount of whimsy.
Just the right amount of whimsy. Okay.
That's great. Another thing I think about a lot is one of the sayings you'll hear about are, and I don't know exactly where this came from, but I've heard it many times, is many right ways to do most things.
Nice.
And we don't have this dogmatic attitude that this is the only way to do a
Yeah.
thing. This is the
Uh-huh.
best way. And
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good philosophy for just life in
Nice. Like it a
general.
lot. Like it a lot. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
example, Greg. Thanks a lot. And there's a lot more to dig into there too. Like you look at flatten and pull. I mean, there's whole worlds to explore there.
Yeah, and I put that in because I just think it's like outside of the sort of actual use case that we're looking at now at the
Yeah.
moment, which is to sort of extract out an element from a list, actually pull and flatten and using the dots in the pipe operating
Yes,
system is all kind of useful
it
skills to
is.
kind of get your head around. You could use them in all different contexts.
I use them sometimes in when writing functions
Nice.
because the bracket notation and the dollar sign notation can get really awkward. Like if I want to pass the column name into as an argument of a function, like where I'm letting
Hmm.
the user say which column they want to pull,
Hmm.
the 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 pluck and pull functions can be really particularly useful inside functions.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so do you want to pull your screen up and teach
Yeah.
me something?
So, we the amount of planning that goes into today, I learned, is that we each plan something and then we get together and we talk about it for about 5 minutes and then we start recording. And today we had this fabulous coincidence where we were both like, "Hey, I'm going to talk about pluck and related things using the Star Wars data set." And we both had slightly different things that we wanted to talk about. And so this isn't planned at all, but I'm also going to talk about pluck and the Star Wars data
And
set.
Star Wars, unbelievable.
Yeah, so here we are. I also have loaded up Tidyverse. I won't talk about the Star Wars data set because you already have. And you've already noticed that films is a list column. And so I'm interested in Anakin Skywalker's first appearance. And, the very first thing I'm doing is exactly the first thing or the last thing you were doing, coincidentally. So I am going to look in two different ways at Anakin Skywalker. That's the 11th row in this data set, looking at the film's variable. And the first entry in that list element is going to be Anakin Skywalker's first movie, according to this data set, The Phantom Menace. Here it is using the pluck notation, using the pluck syntax. By the way, that's coming from the per package within the tidyverse. Another wonderfully named thing in the tidyverse.
Mm,
That might be my
love it.
favorite package name. Great hex sticker too, by the way. It's got a little cat nestled at the bottom of the hex. And you can do this as many layers deep as you want. So for instance, if I leave out that one, I just get the element from that data set, which is that character vector that you showed a little bit ago, or a similar one to the one you showed a little bit ago. See, these are all the movies that Anakin Skywalker appears in, according to this set. Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Now, for me, having been watching these movies since I was a little kid, I have a little bit of a quibble with this. Where, if you ask me, I think Anakin Skywalker actually also appears at the end of Return of the Jedi,
I
right?
agree.
So,
Yeah.
this set is, I think, rightly considering Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker separately. But at the end of that movie, Luke takes off his mask. You actually see Anakin. He appears as a
Hmm.
ghost. So, what I want to do is I want to add Return of the Jedi to this element. And the thing is, because it's nested, you look at the film's column here. We want to make an assignment not just in the data set, not just in the film's column, but actually to one of these vectors that we're finding inside that list. And
Hmm.
so you can
Hmm.
use pluck with the assignment operator. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign the new vector that I want, which is going to be concatenating Return of the Jedi plus the vector that I already had, and I'm going to assign it to that cell in the column, which, if you look at this pluck command that we did before, right, that's these 3 movies.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
now I'm going to have the 4 movies. And there it is.
Nice.
And so now if we do this, actually looking at Anakin Skywalker's first movie, we get the answer that we're supposed to. So
Nice.
I think this assignment use case for pluck is a really nice thing when you have to change things that are nested deep within your structures.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. Love it. Love it. I had not thought of that use case, but I'm kind of new to Pluck. I hadn't seen it before. So, which brings me to this. I bumped into Pluck when reading a chapter that you had written for the book that
Mhm.
we're writing together. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And I loved it. How is the writing going on your side of the fence? You're on the other side of the Atlantic. What's happening there? What are you working on at the moment?
There's 2 different kinds of work in this world for me. And one of them is the kind that you just like, you kind of trudge through, like you're sending emails, whatever it is, like formatting spreadsheets, I don't know what. And then the other kind is it's still work, but it's also like feeding you. And this book is like that for me, where there's like,
Nice.
yes, it's work. I'd rather be sleeping or whatever it is, but it really like lifts me up. So I've been
Nice.
writing and shooting videos about AI in our programming lately.
Nice.
Wrote a big long chapter about that, talking about the Elmer package, talking about GitHub Copilot, Claude, and other things. And it's some stuff that I've been using already, and then just a tremendous opportunity for learning. So it's been really great, and you can see I've got a smile on my face just talking about it. So that's what's going on in my neck of the woods, both in terms of my channel and in terms of this book. What are you kind of focused on, Greg? What are you doing these days?
I've just been giving a bit of thought to some data viz stuff.
Yeah.
There's almost like I find data viz almost like a bottomless pit of things you can learn
Yes.
and just
Yes.
ways to improve and be clearer and work on ways to kind of creating plots with less noise and
Yes.
better annotations, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So I've got a video that's just about ready to go on annotations.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've done stuff in annotations before, but there's always more to learn about
Isn't there?
good annotations in a plot, and I think it makes such a difference
It
if you do
does.
it well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the things I preach to my students is that we get obsessed with sort of summary statistics and like the smoother that you can put over or whatever. And we
mhm,
forget to point out the individual observations that can
mhm.
really carry so much information in terms of
Yeah,
storytelling, in terms of every other aspect of it. So I think that's great. And the other thing I was going to say about ggplot is just how great it is as you're learning the system, how much you
mhm.
learn about sort of data viz best
Yeah,
practices.
exactly, exactly. In general, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, the grammar of
100%.
graphics I mean, that was my entry into it. And I think about visualization totally different since learning ggplot.
Yeah, me too, 100%.
Yeah.
Andrew, great to see you as always. Thanks. I've learned from you as I always do, so thank you for that.
This was great, Greg. Thanks so much. And everybody watching, make sure you check out our Programming 101, Greg's channel. If you haven't already, let's get everybody subscribed there.
And if you're on my channel, go and check out Andrew's channel, Equitable Equations, one of my favorite places to go to learn about R and statistics.
Thanks, Greg. Always a joy.
Take
See you
care.
soon.
Happy days. Bye.